What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to give you a final recap of NIO. Market closed roughly 20 minutes ago. Give you a quick summary of what happened and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO did hold on to its gains. It went up 1.62%. Not much activity after hours, but $4.45 the high, $2.28 the low, 44.4 million shares being traded, 58.01 is the average. So you only had one transaction occurring on the secondary market today. It was a buy pretty much 10 minutes before, or I guess after my early morning video, but 435,000, so kind of good stuff. 100,000 shares, but aside from that, it was just shorts as well as algorithmic trading. And it's very apparent with NIO what algorithmic trading is. All these barcoding kind of trades right here, all of that is algos. So it's kind of funny, that's exactly what has happened, and not much really changes with NIO. So first half of the day, you always have large entities kind of trading. You have shorts fairly active, and then everything just goes dormant. And then you just have algos. It's kind of the same rinse and repeat. But shorts, though, did something abnormal with NIO that wasn't really happening with the broader market, and that was increase. So for instance, shorts did increase 1.65 million shares. So they are still relentless to try to bring NIO down. 15.45% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 206.39 million shares overall are being shorted. And the reason why I say that it was abnormal is because I covered quite a few different stocks, and pretty much every single one that is heavily shorted had shorts return shares today. And ultimately, with Thanksgiving, so happy early Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there, but the market's closed, as well as Friday's a half day, and typically shorts are just taking a long weekend, so they return. Obviously, they don't want to kind of come back to a mess or some crap like that, so they usually just return and forget about it, right? Enjoy the weekend. But essentially with NIO, you have shorts increasing still. So kind of interesting regardless, but whatever shorts are acting on, it's they're very, very confident. Got to give them that. But speaking of confidence, there was one thing that did come out. So you can see Afonso, or whatever his name is, did post this. So NIO's co-founder did state this, and kind of detailed more in the actual article. But they talk on deliveries and how they are kind of slow and steadily moving towards profitability, and that one thing that they did state, that we've made this commitment, and those who believe in us, particularly investors, may see returns if they are right. I don't like the word may, but aside from that though, it does say, or they do say, those who doubt us could face potential losses. So definitely sending a warning to these individuals right here that are continuously betting against NIO. But maybe that's just me reading too much in between the lines. You do your own due diligence though. At the end of the day, 2.43 million in calls, 2.64 million in puts. Pretty evenly divided between neutral, bullish, and bearish options. There was a couple big transactions, clearly not retail. So between 10.20 and 10.25, there was 199,000 in premiums, and then 800,000 in premiums between 11.45 and 11.50. So kind of interesting stuff. And just generally looking here, it's been getting less and less volume, and this is something I did state in my earlier video. So as a grand total, 5.06 million in total premiums, and it's just been slowly going down ever since it peaked at like 15% for the most part. But yeah, honestly, one thing to note though is the puts over calls is starting to increase, showing a little bit more underlying bearishness. So I think that's a lot of that is just feeding off of the technicals. But as of right now, based on the call options that were purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above $5. One thing I do want to bring up is this puppy right here. So there was a good amount of calls that was purchased at the $6 strike price for January. So January 17th, 2025. No matter what, options is just more of a sentiment and stuff like that. So there's some entities that do feel that it is going to be above $6. So that's relatively optimistic. first sign of optimism coming back to NIO. The bears, though, are anticipating for it to be sub $4. And there were some pretty big ones that was placed for April as well as September 2025. So it looks like long term, bigger entities are kind of betting that NIO is going to be sub $4. So what is your viewpoint? What camp are you in? Do you think that there's a good likelihood that it's going to be sub $4 throughout 2025, or do you think it's going to be above $6? What's your viewpoint on that? But with it at $4.38, it was able to hold on for dear life above this S2. So 432 is a strong support, kind of bounced off of that general area. Right now, $4.89 is going to be that next strong target / resistance. So what is your thoughts on the technicals? A couple articles coming out just on how, I guess, various individuals are going to Abu Dhabi, and mostly a lot of articles are just kind of talking on the technicals and stuff like that, because that's one of the biggest driving factors for NIO, which right now it definitely does need to get above that ALMA. So that's at $4.60. So as long as they can get above that, it does still have a lot of resistance levels above it. So it has the 200 and also that 100-day moving average in its immediate eyesight. And then above that, you have that 50 at 544. So I really do feel, based on what they did project for 2025, like to double production in theory, like it shouldn't be at these prices. Analysts shouldn't be giving $3.90 price targets. So it's just one of those weird scenarios that if you do really believe in NIO, then buy the dip, average down, do what you need to do. I think it's one of those age-old sayings: when there's a lot of blood, you buy. It seems like you made the wrong mistake, but it turns out to be fairly right. I think individuals that did buy in around here are pretty much a good example of that bought in August. At that stage, it was kind of pointing that it was going to hit roughly like 350, and it just went boom like crazy. So you never know when NIO is going to go up. That's kind of the fun side of this stock. It's a little bit of like Russian roulette. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy, or if you did options, or whatever else that you did. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, many of which have been already massive bangers. So pop over there to take a look. Plus, I do have a free tier as well. So if you're just looking for educational purposes, if you want to learn about options, whether it be beginner, intermediate, I'll be posting as well over the next couple days more advanced trading strategies. But if you're interested, just make sure you pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.